this is Tia Kirby. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another episode of Heart of the Matter. Today we are getting to the heart of the matter with Dr. Stephanie Boyce, and she's going to share her fertility journey with you. But just in case, before we get into everything, if you've never seen an episode of Heart of the Matter, or you are asking what the heck is Heart of the Matter, well, Heart of the Matter is a talk show here on my YouTube channel, and it's a platform where we go and talk about everything getting past the facade of social media, and I got it all together. It is a platform where people share the parts of their journey that is not so social media friendly or topics that are taboo. Without further ado, I'm going to allow Stephanie to get into her story. Welcome back to Heart of the Matter. If you are just joining us, we are getting to the heart of the matter with Dr. Stephanie Boyce. Today, she's going to be sharing her journey of fertility and all of the behind the scenes because, of course, when you see her, she's like literally probably one of the most amazing women. Just wait, because she's on the rise. Reason I say that is she's just like funny, down to earth, loving, but like one of the smartest women that you'll ever meet and one of the most outgoing women that you'll ever meet. And I could not wait for her to be on the show. She actually was before, but y'all didn't get to see it. We actually filmed, but the lighting was bad. That whole day just went. So at the time, she was not Dr. Stephanie Boyce. And she was getting in the middle of her PhD program, and I'll save the rest for later. But anyway, let me allow Stephanie to introduce herself to you and also kind of tell you what she does for a living and share her journey with you. So without further ado, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me, Tia. Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Dr. Stephanie Boyce. I'm so excited to be here today to share my story with you all. I appreciate the opportunity. I am the CEO and the founder of The Fresh Classroom. The Fresh Classroom is a platform dedicated to creating classrooms that are fun, relevant, engaging, standards-based, and higher order for all kids. So it's an acronym. So it's like we teach teachers how to keep their classrooms fresh for the kids.
I love it.
That's what we do. So I travel across the country and I train teachers wherever they look forward to having training.
I love it. I love it. So just really quick, if I was a teacher and I felt like I know a lot of frustration for teachers is teaching towards the test. That's for sure here in Texas, meaning like the standardized tests and everything.
Everywhere.
And we want to make learning fun. What is something that you would actually come into our classroom and do?
Okay, so I will come into the school and do a training. So we have a 4-hour training option and we have a 6-hour training option. And so we come in, teachers have to have professional development days. It was a kind of mandate.
Yes.
And so we are a platform that provides that kind of training where we come in and we would spend a day detailing why we need a fresh approach, detailing what that looks like in the classroom. They get real like hands-on with the activities. And they get to actually do activities as if they were students in the classroom.
Nice.
That was fresh. So that's kind of what they experience.
I like it. I like it. And how did you come up with this idea?
Well, I was in a position when I was working in schools where we were seeing success. I was seeing success as a classroom teacher. When I took over as an instructional coach, my department was seeing success. And so when people start to ask the question, what are you doing? I had to start trying to think about, okay, if I was going to build out a strategy, what would I say? Like, what are we doing that's helping to facilitate this success? And so I created this acronym called FRESH. I was like, well, it's relevant, it's engaging, but it has to be standards-based because those tests are coming.
Yes.
And we want it to be higher order to connect to things outside into the real world. And so once I started the training, I would go on a regional level, on a state level, and provide the training for free to whoever would have me. And I started to have teachers come up and say, we really need this training at my school.
Nice.
And my principal wants to know, how much do you charge? And it's like, charge? I don't know. So the business was kind of born out of a need that was identified by teachers.
Nice. So of course we started this off about your fertility journey. And of course I can imagine getting your PhD, creating this business, and now traveling and everything. How has it, I guess, affected your journey, and do you feel like as far as timing went and everything?
Woo,
That's a loaded question,
that was
isn't
a
it?
lot. Yes. But it's a good question because I think as women, we have our mindset on the life we want
Yes.
and all the goals we want to accomplish. And I'm one of those go-getters where it's like, okay, every year I have annual goals in this category, this category, this category. And quarterly, I'm checking in on how I'm moving towards meeting those goals. And so I'm type A like that. So I think when you have it laid out in your mind the way you want everything to go, you're always trying to move briskly towards those things. And I think one thing that God taught me was that I can have it all, but I can't have it all at once.
Yes.
That's what this fertility journey taught me. So I'll rewind a little bit. Me and my husband, we got married about 5.5 years ago. About 2 years in, we said, okay, we'll start trying to have a baby. Well, I was already in the middle of my PhD program at the time. But to me, I'm looking at other people in the PhD program, like they have kids too.
Right.
Like they have kids, I can have kids too. Like we can all do this. Here we go. And then at some point in the process, I was a principal as well.
She was.
I mean, I was moving up this ladder in terms of my leadership journey in work. And I was doing this PhD program. And then on top of that, I'm like, okay, now let's do this baby thing because that's where we are in our marriage. And here we go. Right. And I think I quickly realized that it just wasn't going to work out that way.
Yeah.
And so what happened was we tried for the first time. First day we ever did the ovulation test, had a smiley face. We tried, we got pregnant the first time ever. And so I'm like, yeah, here we go. This is on my list. Check.
Right.
Okay. We're going to do this. But shortly thereafter, I had my miscarriage.
Whoa.
And it was tough. And the strangest thing about it was it happened to be a weekend where my mom and my husband were both out of town.
Wow.
And now they never travel. I always travel.
That's crazy.
And so the one weekend where they both happened to be out of town, I had the miscarriage. And so I had to drive myself to the hospital in the middle of the night. I remember I put the car on cruise control so we could just kind of go as I was going through the process. And I was in the hospital by myself, and I feel like that was intentional. Yeah. So I just remember I had Travis Green on repeat as I laid in the hospital bed all night. I was playing intentional. And so on a loop, I turned it down when the doctors and the nurses came in, but all night, this is what I heard. All things are working for my good because he's intentional, never failing. And then at the break, it says, I don't have to worry because it's working for me. And I would be crying if I was hurting. I would be listening to what they had to say, but I had that on repeat. And so I think that's kind of been the mindset that I've taken to all of this stuff. My PhD program took a year longer than I thought it would take. I started this business out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, I'm riding with that too.
Right.
And then on top of that, we have this fertility obstacle that presented itself with my miscarriage. And after that, it was just like, okay, God, like, I don't know, I have a plan, but I'm also open to understanding, the maturity part. You got to understand that everything doesn't always go the way we want it to, but it's still hard.
Yes.
In the process. So that was like 2015, 2016, I had to have my fibroids removed. So I had a myomectomy. It's kind of like a C-section. They open you up and they take all the fibroids out to be off work for like 6 weeks. It was a whole thing. But that's where we were in the journey. And
so I want to go back to the miscarriage, if you don't mind. And then I'll fill in. So the miscarriage. I remember you telling me about that, and then how you were listening to the song. Mm-hmm. Why, and you mentioned that you were alone. Why not reach out to a friend?
That's a good question. So one of my best friends is a nurse. I was texting her because she was up. She was at work. It was the middle of the night.
Gotcha.
I didn't call anybody else that I knew would get up and come right then.
Right.
And to me, I felt like it was intentionally happening this weekend when my mom and my husband, the first two people I would have called, were not available. And for me, when I'm going through something like that, that's intense, that's serious, I think sometimes we too quickly call on people and we want people, and then when they come, they have good intentions, but they're gonna feel sad, and now they're crying, and you're dealing with your feelings and their feelings, and I'm okay, and you're really not okay, but you have to say that because they're freaking out. And so for me, I was just like, okay, God, first of all, I didn't know if it was a miscarriage, but I felt like it was. And then I felt like if I am having a miscarriage, them coming isn't going to do anything.
So true.
But wake them up out the middle of their sleep. So I just wanted to be with God. I was in a constant state of prayer. I was praying throughout the whole night. I was like, okay, God, if this is what's happening, I don't know why it's happening, but give me peace of mind. Like, comfort me. Just allow me to be okay. So I didn't really want to do a lot of talking about it. And that's just how I am in a tough time or in a time of transition. Gotcha. It's always like, God, I need me and God to be right here with no other emotions and everything else going on, so that I can just focus on God. What is it and why am I here? Like, help me, give me peace, because otherwise they'll be freaking out and you'll be freaking out. And I was
very
just
true.
Like, no.
Or sometimes, like you said, I think sometimes the emotion or compassion of others. So like my compassion, I am a crier. I'll be, be like, oh, are you okay? I think sometimes just the imagination of something, or knowing that you were excited about being pregnant and now the disappointment of it. Me as a friend, I probably would have been that friend. I'll try to be there, but I'm like, let me keep it together. I'm gonna go get something. You want something? And then go outside and cry. But so I think that's so dope that, first of all, that you do that, because I think the average person, like you said, will reach out, which kind of sometimes can create more panic than you should have had. So I want to ask about the signs of miscarriage and what you experienced that night.
So for me, earlier in that day, I kind of had a little spotting, and I was just like, this is kind of off. But they say you should expect that during pregnancy. But when I had the miscarriage, it woke me up out of my sleep. I started to have those really intense cramping, and then the spotting was picking up, and I was pretty sure immediately when I got woken up out of my sleep, I'm having a miscarriage. And so for me, I was like, okay, this is happening. And I think I'm a very logistical person, if you can't tell by this conversation already.
She is.
I have friends that used to tell me, like, you're like a boy. And I'm like, I'm not a boy. I'm just logistical and like, okay, this is happening. So my prayer is like, God, like, help. You help me. Like, if you could save the baby, like, save the baby. If that's not going to happen, then just help me, And so that was kind of what was happening. And then it starts to get more and more intense, and the cramping.
Gotcha. And then how was it when you had to call your husband?
So I texted him on my way to the hospital. Of course, he was out of town. And just to let him know, hey, I'm feeling some cramping. I'm headed to the hospital, just to let him know what was happening, that I would keep him updated. But again, I didn't want him to freak out, because I didn't know if it was for sure a miscarriage. It was my first time being pregnant. Right. So, but I think I just was updating him via text message. I didn't even want to talk on the phone, because I'm just like, just locked in. Like, God, what's happening? Just trying to stay focused on keeping my mind during the process. But
So with, I guess with, of course, you get into the hospital and everything is good. Did you experience any depression or afterwards, or like loss of hope about being pregnant or fear?
I think for me, I felt sadness. I mean, it's quite natural, to feel sad. But I think I wouldn't say I felt depression. After the fact, I did call some of my friends, and of course they came over that morning, brought food, piled up in my bed.
Wait, why do we as Black people respond with food? Here, this will make you feel better.
Oh no, and fried chicken at that. Like fried chicken box.
Eat this. This will make everything better.
Yes. So they came, brought food, climbed up in the bed with me. Until my husband made it later in the day, and they were there, and that helped to lift my spirits. We prayed together. And so that was good. But I think because of the faith that I have, you know what I mean? And I don't even mean to say that in like a churchy kind of way, but when you are sure that all things are working together for your good, even in a moment where we're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, you still can't fear evil, because if you know that it's like, dang, even when something sucks really bad, I know that you're with me. Yes. I know you wouldn't leave me or forsake me, and I know that there's still got to be some good that's going to come out of this, because otherwise your word is a lie. And God can't. And God
you better preach.
That's just for real. So you have to hold on to. And another thing is, I feel like I didn't get into depression. There would be moments over the course of the next 3 years when we started trying again that I would feel down about it, or I would have doubts about, like, okay, God, if it's never your will for me to have kids, help me to be a good steward of all these other opportunities that you've given me. Help me to be the best PhD student, the best friend, the best auntie, TT to all these other kids running around. You know, like help me to be the best boss's businesswoman. Like for everything you don't have, there's so many other things that he has entrusted you with.
So what would you, that's so good. What would you say? So there are women or people like who feel like they should have something, and I'll just use the baby. There are some women who feel that they are supposed to be a mom. How do you encourage them to change perspective in case that's not their journey, or to not lose hope if they've had experienced miscarriage, even possibly more than once?
I'd say take inventory of what's in your box. Right? Take inventory of what's in your box. For you to say, I feel like there's something over here that I don't have, that I'm supposed to have. First of all, I think we can mistakenly think whatever we want to.
Right.
Only God knows the thoughts and plans. The Bible says his thoughts are not our thoughts.
Right.
His ways are not our ways.
That's
and so we think, okay, I would love to blah, blah. And so for me, I say take inventory of what you already have. What's in your box? What has God already entrusted you with?
Yeah.
If he's already entrusted you with a lot of different other things, like for me, being an auntie or being, you know, whatever else, a businesswoman. He's entrusted me with a business. He's entrusted me with a husband that like really loves me.
That man
really awesome.
loves her.
He loves me.
Like with all the phlegm in the back of my throat, loves her.
And
like
I love him too.
Yeah.
Like he's entrusted me with these things. And so it's like, how dare I not be a good steward of the things he's already given me because I'm so focused on what I don't have. Like,
that's so good.
How ungrateful do I probably sound to God to be like, yeah, you gave me this awesome husband, you gave me this dope house that we live in, this awesome church family, like all this other stuff. But what about that, God? What about that? Like how immature does that sound? You know, like a kid on Christmas, you give them a whole Christmas tree worth of stuff, and then they look at me and be like, well, what about that one thing? You'll be like, I will punch you in the face. So to me, I felt the same way. Like, how dare I, be ungrateful? In the meantime, God, help me to be the best steward of these other things that I already have. Help me to, draw even closer to my husband, because that can push couples away from each other.
It can.
Yeah. And so, like, how do we harvest what we have so we can continue to prepare, continue to work hard, finish this degree so I can focus my energy and efforts on the kid when and if it comes. And so to me, I would say it's just a matter of changing perspective to, okay, God, whatever I do have, I'm going to put all of my energy into being the best steward I can over those things so that when you do, if you decide to give me a kid, like, that you can trust me with that because you can trust me with this.
I love it. Yeah. I love the whole perspective of not, of course, being grateful. Because I think the average person can say, I'm grateful. So I would bring me in. Of course, me and my daughter went through a journey and whatever. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I made because I was so focused on that space that we were in that for a time, I wasn't all in. I wasn't, while I was grateful for them, my heart longed for this so hard. Or longs for this to be right so hard that inadvertently I didn't give them all of me. I didn't appreciate, and that's probably why my journey took a little bit longer than I expected. Not saying that that's how, I believe that our story was written. God has already planned this out. But at the same time, I had to wake up. I had a wake-up call moment. And so that was the reason I really asked you that question of, how do you encourage somebody not to be so focused on that if this is what they wanted and have been believing God for?
Well, because it's not just the kid thing. It's anything. And social media paints this picture where we're always looking at, this person has, the cutest kid. This person has the awesomest husband. This person, they travel the world. And we want to do everything that we see everybody else do. But, God's plans for us are for us. And so it's like whatever you could look at and say, I want that, I want that, I want that. It's like.
But, I find sometimes you can want something so bad that when you get it, it's not fulfilling. It was the desire for the thing because it looked like the right thing. I think that's really the thing, is just being grateful. I may not have this, but that doesn't mean it's not going to come, which leads me into this part. The first time we ever filmed, when I told you all the footage was bad, Stephanie was not pregnant, but today she is. And you want to tell us about your journey and how, the timing. It was so cool. So I'm going to let her just share that whole story because I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, it was so God. So after my fibroid surgery, that was in 2016, our specialist pretty much told us we're going to have to do IVF. That's the only way to have the baby because the surgery had blocked my tubes. The scar tissue from the surgery had blocked my tubes. I'm like, okay, we go see the fertility doctor. He gives us the information. It's going to cost us about $15,000, $20,000 just to get the baby inside.
Wow.
Not even to take the thing out. So it was like, okay. So he gave us the information. We prayed when we got home that day. We had the folder. And we said, all right, God, if this be your will, help us, And we put it underneath the bed. And we didn't even really talk about it after that because we were like, okay, if we're going to spend $15,000 for the baby in here, then we got to get buckled down on our debt payoff plan.
Yes.
Get this amount saved because we weren't willing to finance the baby. It was a lot.
I can imagine. Listen, you had me at $15,000 just for the insertion.
To get it in there.
And then, of course, not
it's
always
a lot. And there's
effective.
A lot of women that do. And then you have multiple rounds sometimes. So that was in 2016, I guess, after the surgery. They were like, okay, you're going to have to do that. She's like, okay, God, that's what the doctor said. But we know that you get the last word, So even though the doctor says this, we know that you're still able. Keep us, together. Keep us at peace. Like, show us what to do. And so we just continued. I graduated in 2018. And, between 16 and 18, we were just trying.
Yeah.
And then I graduated.
They wasn't trying. It was just liking to do it. But go ahead.
We was trying, girl. But and nothing. We would try nothing. And so we just figured, okay, well, he already told us we're going to have to get IVF. So we just assume, okay, well, it might not happen. And I tell you, God is so intentional that we were preparing. We were saving. We were paying off debt because we were like, okay, we're going to have to pay $15,000 for a kid. I graduated in August of 2018, and in September, we got pregnant.
That's crazy. And at your graduation party, you guys announced, right?
Yes, my graduation party was in December because I had to wait to walk because I graduated in the summer. And at my graduation party in December, we announced it to our families. We did the gender reveal that night. We just took them down with surprises. They weren't ready.
Yes. Okay? So how did you hold that secret from everybody? Because nobody knew.
It was about 3 months at that point. We had told a couple of people that are close to us, but we hadn't told our parents because we wanted them to get the whole surprise experience at the party. But we just, Chris was, he didn't tell nobody. And I think because of the miscarriage, he also didn't want to say anything to anybody. But I was like, okay, there's a couple people I have to say something to. And I didn't want fear to be the reason why I did it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, you had that miscarriage, so you might want to shut up.
Right.
Until you... but at that point when the party came, we were 3 months. And so, we announced it to everybody. And it was so exciting just to share that. But I just thought God's timing is so perfect. I literally finished in August and in September got pregnant.
Isn't that amazing?
Almost like God was like, okay, you're done with that. Yeah. Now here you can handle something else.
So just hearing your story, first of all, you've given me, ever since we tried filming last time and you told me about the song playing. That song, you gave me a total different meaning. You can, they're working for my good. Mm-hmm. It's the thing to say, but to truly believe it and then to hear the song. So I now listen to the song. I've listened to it before, but if I'm in a bad place or just kind of feeling down, I actually listen to that song, remembering your testimony. And you hadn't even gotten pregnant by once that happened. So not that it's the song, but it's the faith behind the song. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say you gave me a whole different meaning for it to strengthen my faith, that regardless of whatever. And because sometimes I'm like, okay, God, I trust you, but how's this working? My God, you're frustrated in the moment.
You don't see it right there.
You don't see the big picture. Mm-hmm. But just hearing your story really makes me think of, I believe it's Abraham when he had to offer up his son. God wanted him to offer up his son. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking there's no way, how could I offer up my child? But it was just the preparation for it and the willingness to be
Obedience.
and the acceptance of that. Because I mean, that cannot be tough to offer up your child as a sacrifice. But because he did, then of course he ended up not sacrificing his child. But sometimes God just wants to see, what are you willing to give him? And then also just being, like as Stephanie was saying, really throughout her journey, is that gratefulness that, let me be a good steward over here. Let me do this. Let me appreciate this part, even though I'm longing for or am scared. Because sometimes it takes you just to be willing to give it up.
It's about surrender.
Yes, that's the word.
To me, it's about surrender. It's about, God, you know the desires of my heart. God, you know what I want. You know, I've always wanted a little girl. I've always wanted a daughter.
Yeah.
Not multiple daughters, only one. I've only wanted one daughter.
Listen, daughters are no joke.
I've always wanted to have a daughter. And so when we went, before we even did the sonogram to find out it was a girl, I had been saying, it's a girl, guys. And my husband had been saying, no, it's going to be a boy. And I'm like, I understand you want a boy, but it's a girl. Like, this is just a thing. But the surrender is so real, because otherwise we end up fighting or we're anxious or we're whatever. But it's outside of our control. Yeah. Most of the things, even the things we feel like are in our control, are not.
Yeah.
So the more we try to fight and tussle with it, we just end up exhausted, depleted, anxious, depressed, whatever, as opposed to just surrendering and saying, okay, God, what is it that you want for me to do in this season right now? And let me focus and go hard on that and show you that I'll do it, with excellence. And then when it's time for another season to come in, I'll do it, and showing him that surrender, like, all right, God, I'm not in control. I'm a planner, but I'm not in control. I still plan stuff. But I recognize that I'm not in control, and those plans can be.
I think that what you just said was that I'm going to do it with a spirit of excellence. So it's one thing to do it, and I think that's the other thing I was trying to allude to, but you just said it so perfectly. Not doing it while you're pouting over the thing that you're. Right. And I have to surrender to God's timing. Yeah. And I have to be okay with being on the journey and having a good attitude about being on the journey, rather than frustrated because it's not happening now. And
the other part of that I would say is just having a spirit of gratitude. Yeah. Like when you're authentically grateful, like when you realize that I had one miscarriage, I had a fibroid removal surgery, like these are things that were like, dang, God, like I got to do another thing. Yeah. But I can look at somebody that's had 3 or 4 miscarriages. I can look at somebody, a woman that lost her life giving birth to a child. Yeah. I can look at people that have these other circumstances and be like, well, thank you, Lord. Right. Like before I fix my mouth to try to complain about one miscarriage and a fibroid removal, like let me take a second to step back and say, thank you, God, for keeping me through that surgery. Like, thank you, God, for allowing me to have my peace of mind, because that's important. Some people lose their mind behind stuff. Absolutely. Like, and so just having a gratitude to get up every day and say, God, thank you. I do meditation in the mornings, where and you just take time to think about the things you're grateful for, even down to like, thank you, God, for giving me the opportunity to have the ability of my limbs. Absolutely. Like, I had a grandma that got her legs amputated when she was a kid. So it's like the fact that I can get up and walk, like how dare I fix my mouth to complain about whatever, when I'm so blessed to have anything that you've given me. I'm blessed to have it.
Amen. I love that. I love that. So I hope that you are like thoroughly encouraged by Stephanie and her journey. How far along are you again? If you'll share that.
27 weeks. And so the baby will be here at the end of May.
That's so
Her name is Amari Michelle. Her name means to possess great strength.
And that's something definitely her mom possesses. I mean, that's just.
Yes, she has it already. She kicks and punches.
She get that from her
very
daddy.
Well.
Look, I was gonna say she get that from her
God, daddy. Yes. She's living up to her name already.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So where can they find you, and where can they find Fresh and all of those things?
Yes. So for me, you can find me on Instagram at Dr. SR Boyce. Our Instagram page for the business is Fresh Classroom, and so you can follow us. We post awesome things for teachers. Follow our journey with the baby. Yay. It's definitely, this is a baby that's a testament to God's faithfulness. And through the process of getting to her, I've learned so much that if you ever need to reach out, I have people hit me up in my inbox on Facebook all the time, because I share on Facebook. I'm Stephanie Boyce. But I share my testimony even when I was going through that tough stuff.
Yeah.
I would share it on Facebook. And, you know, some people feel like, "Ooh, don't be telling all your business."
No. And
But I'm
honestly, even with her telling her business, she is like the biggest goofball that you will ever meet. You probably don't know it sitting here, but spend some time or read some of her posts. She's hilarious.
Yeah, because you just have to share. Like, some days you're just like, it's tough, man. This is hard. Life sucks. And then some days it's like, you know what, we're killing it today.
Yes.
But when you allow that humanity, you know, people slide in your inbox like, yeah, I didn't want to comment on your thing, but I've had 3 miscarriages and da-da-da-da-da. So,
and how do you encourage that person?
I encourage them with kind of some of what I've already shared with you all. You know, like, first of all, just keep the faith. Like, just know whatever God has given you. Like, that's what you have the energy to focus on in this season. You may feel like you want to do all this other stuff and you ready for a kid, but God may know something that you may not know. You know, He may see something you don't see. So just don't get weary in well doing.
Well, before we let you go, I, of course, always ask, what did you learn about yourself during this whole journey?
I learned that process is more important than the goal, the process towards reaching my goals. And so I learned a lot about patience in the process. Patience, but I started my locks in this time period, my business. Like, been in like infancy in all these different areas of my life, and I'm like, come on, I gotta move. That's the way my life is. But I think God has taught me patience through the process. That there's so much to learn, and so many ways you'll be matured through just the process, and not just getting wherever it is you want to go quickly.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so of course you've encouraged us and told us about gratefulness and faith and everything. What is one final word that you would say is your word for this year, for 2019?
My word for 2019 is grateful. I'm just grateful.
Yeah.
I'm in a season of overflow.
I love it.
And God is just good.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so if somebody wants to book you and Fresh to come to your, they can book through the website to their school?
Yes, you can go to thefreshclassroom.com, and we have all the information there about what we provide and how to contact us for booking.
And when are you going to write your book?
My book is already being written.
That was just a faith question. I didn't know she was writing a book.
I've been working on my book. Yay! My goal is to have it published by this year.
I love it.
If I self-publish, and if I go through a publisher, as soon as I can get it published. But yeah.
Awesome. That's exciting. So what is your book going to be about?
It's about the Fresh Classroom. So it's specifically about the instructional stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, I love it. I love it. And we are looking for, of course, a book about this. Everything that you shared today. I think listen, I think it would be so good and inspiring. And I feel like more and more people need to know. And even if just nothing else, just to get that message.
Amen.
I think so. Well, thank you so much for being an awesome guest on Heart of the Matter. And I'm so excited.
And thank y'all for tuning in. Listen to my little old testimony.
Not my little old. It's a big old. It's a big O. In my eyes, it's a big O. Anyway, we love you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And make sure that you turn on the bell notification icon and click it twice so that you always know whenever I upload a new video and a new episode of Heart of the Matter. I think this was like the perfect interview and the perfect testimony for all of us women out there to just be reminded to be grateful and to trust the process. All right, we love you and can't wait to see you in the next episode of Heart of the Matter. Bye-bye. Bye.